news. AGF Malami denies link with disbursement of United Nations grants. Hello guys, welcome back to the news. If you are joining us for the first time, kindly subscribe and please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you for always coming out here. May God bless you all. Let's quickly hit the news to get full details. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, Abubakar Malami, has come out to deny any link with the so-called disbursement of United Nations grants. And this was disclosed yesterday in a statement signed by Dr. Omar Gawandu, the Special Assistant on Media and Public Relations Office of the AGF and Minister of Justice. The statement, entitled Attempts at Defamation and Blackmail, reads in part: Our attention has been drawn to a viral social media message on the so-called disbursement of United Nations grants. We have noticed that the aim of the message was crowdsourcing to persuade the gullible public to penetrate an attempt by agents of blackmail and peddlers of falsehood and hatred to reincarnate for the untenth time their vituperation to bring the name of Abubakar Malami and the office of AGF into disrepute. We deem, to put the record straight, we want to make it clear that neither in his individual capacity nor as the AGF and the Minister of Justice has any link with the so-called grant. He does not have any linking as to what they are referring to and could have not in any way stooped so low to hijack such a process, which at any rate is not part of his constitutional mandate, saying that the AGF and the Minister of Justice is not a meddlesome interloper and that he is engrossed with discharging the benefiting constitutionally recognized responsibility and statutory mandates accorded his office. And that if this grant is given to Nigerians by the United Nations, as claimed by the writer of the message, then one wonders how a member of the Executive Council of the federal government, who is not in any way connected with such international program, would serve as an encumbrance to what is supposed to be a laid-down internationally recognized process and procedures. According to the statement, the office of the AGF would appreciate if the names of the individuals and personalities mentioned in the write-up, including the alleged signatory, could voice out personal statements as to the Malami they were referring to, say how the so-called Malami and cabal reached out to them and exposed the agents or vendors, if any, that were used to block their access to the so-called grants. It demanded that Nigeria be sanctioned is not only laughable but also demonstrates the shallow mindset and intellectual superficiality of the writer, who appears to be bereft of ideas and is arrogant of international processes and procedure of financial engagement between nations and financial institutions and organizations. We therefore call on the general public to disregard the statements that it is an unsuccessful attempt to cast aspersions against the AGF. My people, we know say in this country, nothing is impossible. We see corruption going on the ground. In fact, this Buhari's government has the highest corruption cases we have ever seen in our country. So we see all this going on and then we are not surprised. We are not surprised because one, who is intimidating judges and forcing them to give judgments in their favor and doing the same to other government officials and even using the tactics to enforce others to get the result of his own agenda of enrichment activities We will never accept the crimes he has been committing since entering the office. But everyone is aware of what he's doing. We all know what AGF Malami is doing. We know. So them coming out to deny the link with the disbursement of the United Nations grants is something that we know that they are going to do in any way just to clear their name. But we know how deeply corrupt they are. We know. Now look at the AGF Malami is hell-bent on letting Nnamdi Kanu go. We know. Now look at, he has been associated with defamation and blackmail, saying that he has link with the disbursement of the United Nations grant. And he's a special assistant on media and public relations, Dr. Omar, is coming out to say that no, that the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, Abubakar Malami, is denying any link with the so-called disbursement of the United Nations, saying that he cannot in any way stoop so low, to mingle and hijack such a process, that is not part of his constitutional mandate. And now, if that is not part of his constitutional mandate, then why is he hell-bent in mingling with the affairs of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Or is that aspect part of his constitutional mandate? We really have to, ask ourselves, because nothing is impossible in this country. The system is corrupt, the government is corrupt. So we see all this happening, and then we are not surprised if, he actually hijacked the grants that they are actually coming out to, to deny, and telling the members of the public to disregard such information. That's how the so-called Malami and Cabal reached out to them, and this and that, that they should come out and speak to the public to review their names, and so that this message is just to, paint Abubakar Malami black, that it is not true. Well, we know that nothing is impossible in this country. Whether it's true or it's not true, we know that these guys are corrupt. They are corrupt. So any message that brings out their dirty shades and their secrets and all, they would want to come out to, disregard such message. So it will be like as if they are not doing those things. I'm dropping here, guys.